Good evening, sir. Welcome to Metaphor Literature Fest. Today we'll talk about your book, which is Kaha hai Krishna. So please enlighten us with the fact that where actually Krishna is.
Right. Thank you very much. Uh, you have used a very heavy word, two heavy words, Krishna and enlightenment. So let me tell you, eh, actually the book is Krishna Vasudev.
Okay.
So Kaha hai Krishna, we had a session titled on that, which is fine. It's a corollary of that.
All right.
It's a good question. Where is he? And enlightening, I don't know whether I'll enlighten you. What I have written in the book is a result of thinking about Krishna for last, what, 45 years.
Okay.
So that brings me to that when I was 13 and 14, I actually seriously started thinking about him. So his life has been an enigma for me, like a lot of other people's life, Mahatma Gandhi's life for that matter. So a lot of thought, a lot of experiential thing, and trying to find him in various expressions of life. I understand it's one part of it is always a myth that you can't see that Krishna in a personalized form. There's no way we can. We don't know. There is a lot of stuff which we don't know. But as far as our capacity of our human mind is there, we are not sure whether it's in some other dimension or, but there's a lot to learn from his life. So in that sense, yeah, if you ask me in one sentence, what is this book and this whole life of thought process about Krishna is that I do want to know him, or
Sir,
rather feel him.
okay. So you were a teenager when you started thinking about
Yes,
his existence.
yes.
And now it has been such a long time. So where do you think you are when it comes to discovering where Krishna is, or maybe
Yeah. A lot of
where it could
people
be?
ask me whether I'm a Krishna Bhakt. But I am not a traditional bhakt in any sense, for that matter. Or doing that ritualistic murti puja or doing a lot of ritual, that is not my cup of tea.
So would that result to you being an antagonist?
No, no.
Or
Krishna's thought and thinking about other Mohan Mahatma Gandhi has brought in a lot of acceptance for things. And that acceptance is that there are people who will find out their ways of finding things. But what it finally leads to may be the same thing. Because if you look at Krishna, there's something beyond Krishna also. Krishna was a human form of,
God?
yeah, you want to say God, you say. You want
Or
to say
maybe
avatar.
the universal
So
consciousness.
I look at it a different way. I look at if there is a power which actually some of the scriptures and other people call it Vasudev. Krishna Vasudev is the formless power which keeps manifesting in form of Krishna or Balram and Sankarshan and all that. So there's something beyond that also. What we are talking about is about personalized gods who took avatars. Take for that matter, call it avatar. But I don't look at it that way because they have come to the same earth. They have lived like human beings with the same brain.
Right.
I'm sure their biology, their physiology was the same.
Okay.
Now, having said this, so if they were the same, does their life offer something which was different from our lives? And whether those jewels are better in creating a better human being? Third, and whether it was a prerogative of their life or we can also use that.
Okay.
That is my search.
All right.
Because if I can use it, I may not be able to do things which Krishna was doing, but I may be able to think the way he was thinking.
Right. So it's mostly in the mind, the thought process that we have
Thought process.
is something that leads us to Krishna.
Yeah, so if we can't go back to Gandhi and do what Gandhi was doing, but we can still live like Gandhi in the sense of human connections.
Right.
So Krishna's life or Gandhi's life was all about harmony. Harmony in intrapersonal and harmony in interpersonal.
Interpersonal. Right.
They both failed in some things. He could not prevent Mahabharata.
Right.
He could not prevent Yadav's fighting at the end of it, and Gandhi could not prevent partition
Right.
violence. But that does not nullify what they did in life. There is success in unifying people, in bringing potential. Both these people made gods out of clay. In Gandhi's time, people whom he touched, they became great leaders. Who were they before that?
Right.
And Krishna's life, people whom he interacted, they all became heroes.
Sir, they say there's a requirement of destruction to construct things. So there could be
That is a sign. That is a.
right.
So I think Krishna himself in his life on multiple occasions said that somebody asked him, why didn't you prevent the war? He said, ये काल है. काल के ऊपर नहीं जा सकते. काल is time.
Right.
So this cycle will continue. We'll also come and go.
Okay. Sir, in the session you mentioned few philosophers like Osho, Karl Marx, and at one point of time even Zizek, which is one of the most popular contemporary philosophers.
Yes.
So, sir, when we talk about the God men, the ones who are, I don't know if they are enlightened or close to enlightenment, what is your opinion about them? Do you think they are authentic?
First, the self-proclaimed God-men, okay, fine, whatever they are saying, and people feel happy talking to them, they get solace, they get some amount of comfort, that is fine, that is a choice. Because somebody may choose to play, somebody may choose to go to a movie, it all depends on what they're doing. But what I have very serious doubts when people self-proclaim that I'm enlightened. Because one, is there anything called an objective enlightenment? So everybody's enlightenment is a very, very individual happening.
Sir, and I believe if a person actually attains enlightenment, he or she wouldn't claim it that I am an enlightened person.
I told you that doha na, bhikha baat agam ki kahan sunan ki nahi.
Right.
Jo kahe wo jane nahi, jo jane wo kahe nahi. If you know, it's like दोहों में कहते हैं गूंगे को गुड़ का स्वाद, he can't say it. Somebody who is dumb,
right,
even if you feel some taste, they cannot tell you. This is how brain functions. If I say word red, the red may be the same thing, but how you perceive it is different from how I perceive it.
That's true, yeah.
Even if I say a word called rose, our images will not be the same.
We both have our own subjective thoughts about it.
So human life, there is a biology, which is the same for everybody. There is a process of electrophysiology, which is the same, but the subjective worlds are very different. So that is why there is no Buddha after Buddha. That is why there are isms and Gandhism and Vaishnavism, and these are all useless words.
Right.
What ism? There cannot be another Krishna. I can harmonize my emotion, the process they can tell. You can use the process of Krishna to harmonize the reason and emotion to the best of my ability.
Is it about finding the balance between reason and
balance?
emotions?
That is one. Second, by bearing up the uncertainty of the world in a most stoic manner.
Okay, so there comes the Stoicism too, right?
Comes the Stoicism.
Right.
How you suffer stoically. But Gandhi took Stoicism to another approach. Gandhi and Krishna. They said, suffer stoically, let go of things. Why? Because when you let go of things, only then you can love human beings. So it was all about love.
Right.
How you can bring that I, that view where you can think that you and me are same at one level. With minor differences here and there, we may disagree and all, but largely there is no difference between you and me.
So, but then the concept of universal consciousness, us being a part of universal consciousness, we are just individual consciousness, right? Sir,
I don't know what is universal consciousness. Is there something called that?
Sir,
Consciousness is a
philosophy does believe
philosophy believes in, a lot of scientists also believe in, but I don't know what is consciousness.
सर कृष्ण को भी एक तरीके से अगर थोड़े फैंसी टर्म में बोले तो it could be like universal.
I think consciousness is just a word to explain what we don't understand.
Could be.
We are conscious about, we perceive something, I am seeing you, right. Your image goes into my mind, my memory compares your image with any pre-existing knowledge, there is an emotion which is laced by this thing, and then in 500 milliseconds I realize, my conscious mind realize that I'm seeing you.
Right.
So between your light reflecting from your face and between my realizing, there is 300 to 500 milliseconds have passed. This is what I know in reality.
Okay.
So next 500 milliseconds, so its brain is weaving a continuous story. If you call that consciousness, yes.
Okay.
Because if you say there is a universal consciousness, that means you are saying that primary consciousness is universal. Right?
Right.
And that has chosen brain to express it. So tomorrow, universal consciousness may choose a silicon chip to express its consciousness. The robots will become conscious then, huh?
Or it could choose one very intelligent man who would choose to put chips in the
Or
brains.
this in reverse. Consciousness is not primary. That intelligent man had the capacity to bear and explore most nook and corners of life and to unite it into a common philosophy.
Right. There
And live
goes
that
like,
philosophy.
right.
Because most philosophers don't live the philosophy.
That's true. That's true.
So when you say God-man, I don't know whether they really. I think most of it is all borrowed knowledge.
Could be, sir. That's true. Sir, also you did mention Sisyphus at one point of time in the
Yes.
session. Sir, so do you have any sort of suggestions to youngsters or Gen Zs or millennials when it comes to, because at this point of time, all the people are really getting bored with the life in general because the
Yes.
same routine getting
Tired.
up
People
and
are
then
tired.
yeah, people are tired.
No, because
But
because
then-
everything is becoming too much.
Yeah, but then, sir, the concept of absurd man, and I don't think a lot of people are aware about
Have you
it.
seen a film called Zorba the Greek?
Yes, sir. Zorba the Buddha, I think.
Zorba the Greek.
Okay.
Just totally disinhibited, happy, living in total rhythms of his body and mind.
Okay.
He could dance, and he meets an executive who doesn't dance and is very serious and seriously talking and all that. So man has a lot of potential, but when man gets up, when he's born, he's actually a god with all potential. For me, God means reaching to the full potential. Now, full potential, why Krishna is great? Because he could live life in all potentials fully. When he was fighting, it was Mahabharata. When he was loving, it was like Radha.
Right.
Right? Gandhi lived his life to the full potential, barring a couple of things. Other people lived life in Christ lived in one potential, that I can suffer. I can take all your suffering. So for somebody to live, even experience most of the rasas of life, that is human.
Right.
So that is conscious.
So, but then at one point of time, which actually was the most interesting sentence for me, you said knowledge is suffering.
Knowledge is suffering.
So-
Because knowledge is suffering because every new knowledge will cause certain amount of death in you.
Yeah, death
Because
anxiety.
that
we
is
were
gone.
discussing, right?
Then there's something new. There's something new. So you should be ready to let go of all that.
Okay.
Why do you want to pile up your head? The problem with these days is with us is we are piling too much without letting go of the past.
Right. So we're just supposed to like live in the moment and let things go.
So when I say let go, people, there are two ways. People think let go means don't bother about anything, don't bother about it. It's not that. It means whatever goes into a head, you have integrated into your existing conceptual thing.
Right.
People live in
So
concepts.
we just need to prioritize, right?
Yeah, people live in concepts. They never test it whether it's true or right or wrong.
Okay. सर अपने बचपन की एक अच्छी मेमोरी बताइए हमें.
मेरे बचपन की बहुत अच्छी मेमोरीज हैं.
Sir, just one, like most interesting one.
मोस्ट इंटरेस्टिंग बड़ा कठिन.
Just one.
नहीं, मेरे साथ प्रोसेस में अच्छी बता सकता हूँ तुम्हें क्या. मेरे पैर में पोलियो हो गया था 2 साल की उम्र में. एंड आई स्टार्टेड वॉकिंग क्वाइट लेट आफ्टर लॉट ऑफ फिजियोथेरेपी एंड ऑल. आई एम टेलिंग यू हाउ डिसेबिलिटी अराइजेज इन द माइंड. I never felt disabled and never took advantage of special disability or anything, because none of my friends, that includes my girlfriends also, a lot of them, none of them ever pointed out that I have a little bit of impairment in my right leg.
Sir, where did you grow up?
Kanpur.
Okay.
I studied in a convent and there was a co-ed. और मैं क्रिकेट खेलता रहा, थोड़ा मुझे एडजस्टमेंट करने के बाद कार चलानी थी मुझे, तो कार में प्रेशर वाले पैडल होते थे तो मैं ऐसे क्रॉस लेग चलाता। इनोवेशंस। बाद में मारुति आई तो मैं एक नीचे पैर के नीचे एक ब्लॉक रख के उस पर पैर रखता था ताकि ये मूवमेंट हो सके। बट डांस भी हो गया, थोड़ा ट्रैकिंग भी हो गई, सब इश्क मोहब्बत सब होती रही, अपना बढ़िया दुनिया थी। किसी ने
तो
पॉइंट
it
आउट
did
नहीं किया
not affect you, like
यार, मुझे किसी ने बताया नहीं, किसी लड़की ने भी नहीं कहा आज तक कि तुम्हारे पैर में कुछ है। तो
Okay.
रिजेक्शन नहीं हुआ मतलब, या हुआ होगा तो मैंने ध्यान नहीं दिया होगा।
sir,
क्योंकि जब तक रिजेक्शन एहसास होता तब तक तो मैं
right,
कॉन्फिडेंट हो चुका था।
that is true, we sort of manifest things,
Yeah,
right?
so impairment is possible, disability is all in the head.
Okay,
So that wise it's fine.
okay,
But I've received a lot of love. I also maybe अभी मेरी कार्डियक सर्जरी जब जनवरी में हुई, लॉट ऑफ बाद में मैं आया तो पता लगा बहुत प्रेयर्स हो रही थी मेरे लिए। तो मैंने लोगों से कहा ये पिछला प्यार मैंने दिया या तो वो है, या बिल्कुल नया आ रहा है, नया आ रहा है तो अगले 20 साल फिर वापस करना पड़ेगा सबको प्यार।
okay.
But I think life is all about love. Why people divide in their head this, that, right, wrong, good, bad? It's all right to have some little bit of right, wrong, little bit of morality to keep the society going. It should not become oppressive. For most people, these things become a burden and very, very oppressive. You want to laugh, you have a problem. ऐसे मत हंसो. You can hug people and feel happy. What is wrong? तो उसमें फिर मेल फीमेल ये क्या है? ये सब झंझट है, बिना हो जाएगा।
That's true, sir. So one last question: how religious do you think you are?
Organized religious, zero. Sufi wise religious, yes. But I like listening to a lot of classical vocal religious songs. Religious means relating to Shiv, to Krishna.
Exactly.
But that is aesthetic actually.
So but your book is named Vasudev, Krishna Vasudev. So that is why I asked
Krishna is Krishna.
Right.
Vasudev is even above him.
Okay.
And because I love them actually. So I love people. That's why I told you, I'll tell you a series of things which I love.
Sir, what religion do you follow?
I love Upanishads.
Okay.
I really love Krishna, Buddha, Shiv, Kabir, Gorakhnath, Sufi fakirs, Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan. But I also love Albert Einstein and the whole quantum gang, Schrodinger, Heisenberg, Osho to some extent.
Sir, you did mention about this thread.
This is the thread which I have, I live in.
Okay.
So, but then I find it's all the same stuff.
Right.
If a Nusrat can lose himself while singing, I also love losing in listening to him. But I can listen to Rajan Sajan Mishra singing Shiv Bhajan.
Okay.
So, I like a lot of things.
All right.
So, yeah, I like Ghalib also for that matter.
Okay.
See, for me, you understand, I'll tell you what is the thread. Anything which can look beyond this divisive tendency of human mind. There is a divisive tendency in human mind because it wants to create certainty by categorizing things.
So, but then this thread is also a
it
sort
rocks.
of... It is a division. There are different...
No, it's not a division. These are all these people, if you go look at them deeply, they were talking, doing things which were beyond these divisions of religion, of male, female, of... You understand?
Right.
So a lot of conflict. I talked about conflict. People choose one thing in conflict. There is no difference to choose between Shiva and Krishna. My book actually talks about them, how Krishna and Shiva are so entwined with each other.
Okay.
How Sufi and Advait is entwined with each other. Why say different? For me, folk Nusrat is same as singing Rajan Sajan Mishra. Something which creates this sense of being one.
Sir, so you support non-dualism, right?
If you want to put a word to that, yes. For me, duality is also okay.
Sir, but then this is a very huge discussion, especially in philosophy.
No, but philosophers who talk about like this choose a position.
Yeah.
I don't choose a position.
Okay.
I have no position.
Okay, when it comes to duality, right?
To anything. In quantum physics, electron, what position electron has? Nothing, it's a wave.
Right.
When you observe, it becomes a material. So I love Nagarjuna talking about Shunyata. You are a philosopher, you know this. What was he saying is, things do not have their swabhav. It's your relational stuff which creates with them.
Right.
So Carlo Rovelli talks about relational quantum mechanics, and Nagarjuna talks about Shunyata. It's all the same. See, lot of knowledge has come in explaining things and in trying to explain it to others. In that words, when words and words, they create division. But sometimes it's always good to get back.
Okay, sir. So this is a little inclined towards language, this question. So when it comes to linguistic forms, do you think abstract thoughts, what we have, do you think, I mean, is it right to convert all of it into words? And are we capable as human beings to do it?
We are not. We are not.
So what about poets and
Words are
these huge writers and stuff?
Chomsky says that we all have a basic template for language.
Right.
We're born with it.
Right.
So the process, we are born with it. The rest of the content is symbolism. Words are what? Signifier and signified, you would have read all that stuff.
Right.
So words could have been anything. So this is a bottle. So somebody started, at some point of time, started calling it a bottle. And you can have a etymology to it.
Right.
But suppose somebody started calling it a pen.
It would have been a pen for all of us. Like
Right,
universally, it would have been a pen.
Universally.
Right. So, okay.
Lot of physiology, the human mind, the human body, the way it uses, the same, all common. We eat in the same way.
Right.
Right? We don't call this eating, we call this eating. We call this smiling, universally. Tears are tears. So, language helps also, but language creates problems also.
That's true.
So, words are okay. Words are like pointers to something else.
Sir, what is your take on poets then?
Suppose, no, I'll just come to it. If Einstein had been a painter, he would have still done relativity.
Right.
But he would have not done it in mathematical equation.
He would have done it
painted
in the form
Tagore wrote the same things. Tagore-Einstein dialogue is very famous.
Right.
Tagore did write the same. He was writing poetry, but...
Okay.
So a lot of people, when they talk about God, they are actually talking about this concept. They do not have the right word for it.
Right. But they reach to that ultimate point in the form of different art forms.
My contention is very simple. If you can reach to some point intellectually, but whether you feel it experientially, the mind of the God,
right?
Maybe, who knows?
There
is one. But suppose if I reach, maybe I will not be able to talk to you after this. Who knows?
I mean,
maybe I know and I'm talking something else and that reality is somewhere else. So there's a lot we don't know.
So since you mentioned reality, what do you think? Is there an objective reality or it's just
the only objective reality is physical reality and laws of physics.
Okay.
That is a reality.
So
we are bound by it. The rest all is all flimsy.
All right.
Okay. We keep changing reality. Reality keeps changing, na?
Okay. But then what about the metaphysical stuff that we cannot see? God, soul.
So we don't know. Let's confess.
We cannot perceive them, that's why you don't believe.
If God is another dimension at all, our human mind has a limited capacity. It cannot fly like bird, it can't smell like a dog. We are limited. A lot of our limitation has gone into fantasy.
Right.
Imagination. Our mind cannot perceive beyond four dimensions. If God is an nth dimension, then even our prayers are useless then.
That's true.
ये तो हम लोग प्रेयर कर रहे हैं ना, वो पहुंच भी रही है कि नहीं पता नहीं. फिर उसकी मर्जी होगी तो मिल लेगा.
राइट.
तो ये तो अच्छी जर्नी है, ढूंढते रहो, तो लाइफ बीत जाएगी, इसमें मिलेगा या नहीं.
ओके सर.
मिल भी सकता है.
Could be.
Who knows?
I don't know. Okay, sir. So that brings us to the end of this conversation.
Yes,
Thank you so
wonderful.
much for being
Thank you
with us.
very much.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thanks.